Alright, welcome back. Of course, for this only video, we're going to be talking about one album, and it's a album by a band that only released one thing in the 80s and nothing else. And this is definitely one of those bands that were on Metal Blade, and that band I'm talking about, Predator. Let's look at that artwork. Isn't that fucking stupid? You wouldn't think metal until you look at the back cover and look at the logo or the record label, and that it's Metal Blade or Enigma. Yeah. And this is a metal album. It definitely has a bit of that what I would consider U.S. power metal. It does remind me a bit of Savage Grace. At times, it's got a bit of that sound to it. Or some of the bands off the Shrapnel Records label. And of course, Jeff Prentice is definitely a shredder. But when it comes to members on this band that are definitely good, not the band members that are listed besides Jeff Prentice did not play on this album. The drummer who's on this album, and I found this out through an interview with Jeff Prentice, the drummer on this album is Joe Agassi, who was, of course, drummer for Axe Hammer, which are definitely quite, known within the underground metal scene. Having stuff released through I think like No Remorse or so forth. Definitely through Greek labels. But he is the drummer on this album, actually, not the one that's listed. And when it comes to bass players, Angelo Espino, I believe, is the one who actually plays on this album, who actually played with Hyrax on the New Age to Terror album, Once Dead, and so forth. So because of when I read the interview, he said that the two members that play on this album are not the ones that play on it, and so the only bass player that actually gets listed on the Metal Archives is him, so I have a feeling he's the one that plays on the sound alongside Joe Agassi and Jeff Prentice. So there's your actual lineup that recorded Easy Prey, the only album by Predator. But the thing is, this band was actually going under the name, I believe, Deceiver, before changing the name to Predator. So that's what I've heard. That's the story that I got from reading Jeff Prentice's interview. So with that, this album was released in 1986, not 85. It was like January of 86. So album starts off with, of course, Prelude, which is, it's at times it starts off with a bit. It's like a little bit of jam, kind of. You definitely get a taste of Jeff Prentice's guitar work. Then we get to the title track, which definitely you really start to get that feel of it. It's definitely shred-based stuff. It's definitely, and of course we do hear Jeff Prentice singing, which is so over the top. This guy can be put next to fucking John Gallagher of Raven. It's definitely just got that very over-the-top singing. This guy is this is definitely over-the-top U.S. power metal. Then we get Shrieks of Terror, which again keeps it going. Speedy, a little raw, but still is very good. Then we get Masters of the Night. The way it starts off is very melodic, before just belting into just pure speed metal. It's just double bass driven stuff. Very good track. Nonetheless, one of my favorites. Hawk Mistress, which is a instrumental. Which on here, it's not your fucking shrapnel instrumental I compared them to some of the shrapnel bands, but here this isn't. It's just a song just with some guitar solos here and there. It's just very shred bass, but still is a song. It's still very rock, and it's still got some good stuff in there. Siberia. This is another killer track that's got some good riff progressions, just riff after riff. It's just a real killer track, which ends side 1, and then we get to side 2, which is Over the Edge. It starts off soft. This is another instrumental another instrumental, but after the soft intro, you then get a very thrashy riff. And throughout this track, you get still more of Jeff Prentice's guitar work. And of course, more of drumming, Joe Agassi's drumming, which is just fucking great. Really, really good track on here. Then we get Road to Glory, which is... someone said that this is pretty much was inspired by Quiet Riot's Mental Health, but not really. This is just a bit... I wouldn't say that at all. It's definitely got a very upbeat, way of it. It's definitely upbeat, but still is a very good track nonetheless. It's I like it. Probably not the best song off of here, but still is good. And we get Demon Witch, which is another good track. Just has a really good catchy chorus as well. Gotta get away from the Demon Witch. Just another good track. I really like it. Then we get Tortured, which kind of almost pushes it to being a bit of a ballad. But it's a very good ballad at that. It's definitely a really good track that I do like. It ends the album, and not like a fucking Forever Tonight by Pantera, where it just ends it on a fucking almost embarrassing note. Here, this is far from being embarrassing. This is just a emotional song that really does seem to kind of fit in with the album. I really do dig it. Overall, it's definitely one, if you're into guitar shredding based metal albums, this is definitely one to check out. If you could get past the really goofy artwork, which, here's one thing funny. This is actually also showed up in, and I didn't really catch this years ago, but when I was watching the, what was it? Was that VH1 Classics documentary, Metal, or Heavy, the Story of Metal, when they were talking about the PMRC, and they were showing an artwork that was considered to be very nasty looking, that was just inappropriate, that deserved the kind of given that, parental advisory tag. This art actually showed up in that video. It showed up in that documentary. And, well, the thing is, the only thing that's actually that really does, if anything, this artwork is pretty damn bad. I do have to say. It is a bad artwork, and I think, and when reading that interview with Jeff Prentice, he said that he was amused. He took this photo was taken out of amusement. It was taken out of fun. It was just, in a way, it was just a goofy artwork. Goofy, it wasn't meant to be the artwork anyway. This wasn't supposed to have been. But Metal Blade apparently made it the artwork, and when he got the the album in, he laughed. He said he was like, okay, whatever, all right. And to this day, he still laughs over the artwork. In some ways, I think this is why the band really didn't go anywhere, because of the artwork. If anything, the music that's actually obtained, if sure, you have people that really do say it's middle-of-the-road stuff, but I like it. But the artwork, I've had something different and actually had something that really represented the album that wasn't this. Yeah, I think the band would have been given a bit. It would have at least worked in their favor. But since they chose something else, even the back cover for this would have not been good enough to use for the artwork. No, it would have not. Nowadays, Jeff Prentice is just he's just working with other different bands, not metal at all. Definitely, overall, this is the only album that was released by Predator, and for what it is, it's actually a pretty solid album. Definitely got some good guitar work, definitely got some even musicianship. It's definitely a good album. It's definitely worth the listen. If you're into guitar shredding based stuff, this is definitely one you'd like. And at times, it isn't like Yngwie Malmsteen stuff where it just goes into pure fucking... If anything, it kind of reminds me at times also of David T. Chastain or at times maybe even Vinnie Moore maybe. This is just... It isn't bad. It's definitely good stuff that I do like. Production for the album was also produced by Chuck Rosa, which I did talk about now that he produced, which was Abattoir is the Only Safe Place. Overall, good album. If you have heard Easy Prey by Predator, what are your thoughts? If you have any thoughts, you could post your comments down below. This Hippie Thrasher saying I'm out. And see you later in the last week of U.S. Power Metal Month.